Hi, I'm Nancy McDonald. What you're about to see is the result of an 8-week class called the Professional Actors Class. Usually in the before time, often we would be gifted with the generosity of Lakewood Theater in Lake Oswego, Oregon. They would turn over a night of the theater to us. We would do the scenes. They could invite friends, family, casting agents, directors, agents, and it was a wonderful event. Well, this was my first ever time trying this platform of Zoom and the professional class. So I had 7 actors join me. Some are new to the class, some have worked with it before. They put together scenes fairly quickly because it's an 8-week class. The first week or two was spent picking out scenes, putting things together. And so they really only had about 5 or 6 times to work the scene in class. But we found it very exciting. When you have things thrust upon you, new things appear. And so it became more intimate. It became more film oriented. But it also became, how do we connect when we're not connected in any way? And so that was the goal, to make these actors really become the characters, delve into the scene, work so that you feel when watching it. Doesn't matter what the background is, doesn't matter what their costumes are, but they put them together, they put some lighting so that you could at least see their faces. But the goal wasn't to be film, the goal was to be alive, was to pull you into the scene. So that's our goal, that's what we hope we've done. You're gonna see the scenes, each one will have credits prior to, so you'll know who they are, what's going on. And stay till the very end, please, because we have something special for you. 2 of my actors worked with me prior to. They did a special 6-week coaching session where we kind of all learned what Zoom was. But they've got these scenes in wonderful shape, and I want you to see those 2 last scenes. So be sure you watch all the way till the end. Also, just thank you so much for joining us. I mean, now you can join us from all over the place. And thanks to Lakewood Theater again, because I might not have been able to do this on their stage, but they generously are sharing it with you. So thank you so much, Lakewood Theater. I'll have some credits at the end, so be sure to take a look. Bye-bye.
Mr. Donovan.
Mr. Vogel?
No. My name is Shishkin, Ivan Shishkin. I'm the second secretary of the Soviet Embassy. It would not be appropriate for Mr. Vogel to join us. He's a German national.
So you're here to...
To facilitate this meeting.
So I'm confused.
Yes.
I don't care who I speak with as long as it's about the exchange of personnel. Are you the person to talk to?
Yes. Of course we should talk. How did you arrive in the Eastern Sector?
The train, the S-Bahn.
And you are alone?
Yep.
And you are credentialed?
Well, you must know about me, sir. I'm a private citizen, a lawyer from Brooklyn in the United States, and I'm taking time from a busy schedule to help my client, Rudolph Abel. I'm authorized to help arrange an exchange of Abel for Francis Gary Powers. This is a complete pardon of Abel, and that will be signed at the time when the actual exchange takes place. That's the only reason I'm here. I hope and expect to make this arrangement quickly. Abel for Francis Gary Powers and Frederick Pryor.
We do not have Pryor.
No, you don't.
I have heard of Pryor, but he's being held by the German Democratic Republic, not the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.
Well, I'll tell you the first problem. The names of your countries are too long.
If we release powers, it would be to promote goodwill between our countries, so an exchange is not possible. Perhaps you could release Abel as a token of goodwill to our friends in Germany, and then several months later, we can release powers. There's an idea.
No, that won't work for us at all. You see, we need this to be an exchange. You can call it whatever you want, but an exchange it must be. We can have Abel within 48 hours, and we need powers at the same time we give you Abel.
Well, can we call this the impatient plan?
Call it whatever you want.
I will relay this impatient plan to Moscow and see what they have to say, but they will wonder, why so impatient?
Because I have a cold, I don't live in Berlin, and I just want to get home.
They will think, well, the Americans must have all the information that Abel has to give, and now they are now impatient to trade him, hoping in return for this man powers, who has perhaps not given up all the information he has to give. This is not an equitable trade, sir.
But you're saying that if Powers has given up everything he knows, then Moscow would trade. And why wouldn't they? As for Abel, if he dies in an American prison, then the next Russian operative who's caught might think twice about keeping his mouth shut. And you never know, Abel might want to see the sky again and be willing to trade Russian secrets for small American favors.
How can we know this? We are just little men. We are just doing our job.
Like Lieutenant Powers, he's just a pilot.
He was making photographs at 70,000 feet when he was shot from the sky. People in my country consider this an act of war.
We've got to get off this merry-go-round, sir. The next mistake that our countries make might be the last one. We need to have the conversation that our countries can't.
I can ask Moscow. Who knows what they will say? There are many people, Mr. Donovan, that do not want this exchange to ever take place. Can you meet me here tomorrow to discuss their answer? Powers for Abel.
And Frederick Pryor.
As I have said, Pryor is in the hands of the organs of state security of the German Democratic Republic.
I'm confident you can make arrangements.
I am merely a secretary in an embassy of a foreign power.
Okay.
You will need to see Mr. Vogel. I will get you his address.
There actually is a Mr. Vogel.
Why would you imagine otherwise? It is a short cab ride. And please, Mr. Donovan, wear an overcoat in this weather.
I had mine stolen from me.
What do you expect? It was from Saks Fifth Avenue, wasn't it?
Devil take me if I know anything about medicine. You're a good sort. I'm willing to confide in you just like you've confided in me. They've made me a doctor in spite of myself. I never bothered to fill my head with that much learning. All my education only goes up to the 7th grade. I don't know what put this idea into their heads, but when I saw that they absolutely insisted on me being a doctor, I decided to be one, at the expense of to whom it may concern. However, you would not believe how this mistaken idea has gotten around and how they are dead set on me being a learned man. If this keeps up, I think I'm going to stick with medicine my whole life. I think it's the best trade there is. Whether you do well or you do bad, you get paid just the same. Bad work never comes back to our backs. We can cut the material we choose any way we please. A cobbler making shoes, if he botches the leather, he has to pay for the crockery. I can botch a man and it doesn't cost me anything. In short, there is a decency, an unparalleled discretion among the dead. You never hear one of them complain about the doctor who killed them.
Mrs. Blumberg. Mrs. Blumberg.
Yes.
Lillian Cornwall.
How are you? Excuse my appearance. I just got out of class. A real workout I had today.
You look marvelous. How's Ben?
Ben is doing very well. He's a lawyer at Corvette. I mean, Kramer.
And Simon?
Oh, Simon is with his business. He would love for Janie to take over, but she says she's happy freelance writing.
I always liked Janie. She's such a bright girl.
I tell her people stop me on the street to tell me how bright she is, but she doesn't believe me. Oh, Janie says Harry has a nice job.
Yes, she's at Colgate Palmolive.
She's going to be an executive mother like you. How nice. Do you see the girls much? My daughter, whenever I call her, I get them a shoe.
I reached Harriet's secretary, or rather, my secretary reaches Harriet's secretary.
She's always been a hard worker, your Harriet.
Harriet tells me Janie's been seeing a nice boy.
Oh, he's a very nice boy. But so what? Harriet and Janie are very nice girls. They deserve a little notches. You know what I mean by notches? A little happiness. Well, I don't want to keep you. I know you're a very busy woman. You probably have appointments.
Actually, I thought I'd surprise Harriet and take her to a nice lunch. But her secretary told me that she's got a meeting. So I thought I'd treat myself to a Frankfurter in the park. I haven't had a Frankfurter in the park since I lived in England 30 years ago.
Can I tell you something? I'm sorry, I forgot your first name.
Lillian.
Oh, Lillian, maybe it's none of my business, but you shouldn't eat Frankfurters. You know what Frankfurters are made of. Have some string beans. All the young girls at dancing class carry plastic bags with string beans.
Thank you.
I always tell my daughter, only old ladies sigh. My husband has an expression. Everything presses itself out. Oh, believe me, Harriet will find a nice boy. She'll get married, she'll work, she'll have a nice life. I can't understand why they're fighting it so hard.
I don't think Harriet thinks about marriage very much.
Oh, these days they live together. That's the latest. Believe me, it's the same thing as being married.
Harriet told me she doesn't particularly want to live with anyone. I don't live with anyone.
You can't listen to your children all the time. My daughter tells me I don't wear any clothing. I'm wearing clothing? My daughter, Janie, she thinks I call her in the morning to check up on her. Yesterday, she answered the phone and said, "Hello, Mother. This morning, I got married, I lost 20 pounds and became a lawyer."
That's funny.
Oh, you can always have a good time with Janie. But you know what? Sad. Not sad like a child was ill or something, but a little sad to me. My daughter never thinks I called her because I miss her. Sure, I'd like it if Janie were married, and if she were a lawyer, that'd be nice too. And believe me, if I could take her by the hand and do it for her, I would. I'm that sort of mother. I remember when Janie was in high school and she'd slam the door to her room and say, "Mother, what do you want from me?" Lillian, what do I want from her? I just want to know that she's well and to give her a little push, too. But just a little one.
Sooner or later, you can have everything pressed.
It's everything presses itself out. I'll tell you, life isn't like those Ivory Snow commercials with the mother and daughter comparing hands. Maybe your life is like that, but at 7:15 in the morning, my Janie and I don't get up to play golf together.
Harriet and I don't get up to play golf either. Tell me, do those string beans really fill you up?
You're an intelligent woman, Lillian. How could a bag of string beans really fill you up?
Do you ever go across the street to Rumpelmeyer's?
I take my granddaughter when she's in the city.
Rumpelmeyer's always sold the nicest stuffed animals. I never liked those Stipe toys at FAO Schwartz.
They're made in Germany.
Would you join me at Rumpelmeyer's for a sundae? I have 20 minutes before I have to go to a meeting. You could get a nice iced coffee and some fruit.
Oh, why should I have fruit when they have such nice ice cream? I don't care what restaurant you go to. The fresh fruit cup is never fresh.
I haven't been for a sundae in the afternoon since I was at Vassar. This is a big day for me. A Frankfurter in the park, a sundae at Rumpelmeyer's. I'm having a wonderful time.
The girls at dancing school always say you could have a good time with Tasha.
Do you like James Garner?
Who?
You ever watch the Rockford Files?
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Lenny. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Lenny. Happy birthday to me. Meg? Oh, Meg.
Lenny,
Why, Meg?
dear Lenny.
Did you fly in? You didn't take a cab, did you? Why didn't you give us a call?
My God, we're getting so old. Oh, I called for heaven's sake. Of course I called.
Well, I never talked to you.
Well, I know I let the phone ring right off the hook.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was out most of the morning seeing to Babe.
Now, just what's all this business about Babe? How could you send me such a telegram about Babe and Zachary? You say someone shot Zachary? Well, good Lord, is he dead?
No, but he's in the hospital. He was shot in his stomach.
In his stomach? How awful. Well, do they know who shot him? Well, who was it? Who?
Babe! They're all saying Babe shot him. They took her to jail, and they're all saying she shot him. This is terrible. It's horrible.
Well,
It's
who's
awful.
saying it? Who?
Everyone. The policeman, the sheriff, Zachary, Babe, even Babe herself is saying it. It's terrible. It's just terrible.
Now, Lenny, just calm down, Lenny. Just calm down. Now, okay? Can I get you a Coke?
Oh.
Yeah, I'll get you some Coke. Just hang on. Sit down. God's sake. Okay. Why would she shoot him? Why?
I asked her that very question this morning when I saw her. I said, Babe, why would you shoot Zachary? He was your husband. Why would you shoot him? And you know what she said? Because I didn't like his looks. I just didn't like his looks.
Well, I don't like his looks.
But you didn't shoot him. You wouldn't shoot a person because you didn't like their looks. You wouldn't do that. Oh, I hate to say this. too late to say this, but I believe Babe is ill. I mean, in her head ill.
Oh, now, Lanny, don't you say that. There's plenty of good, sane reasons to shoot another person, and I'm sure Babe had one. Now, what we've got to do is get her the best lawyer in town. Any ideas on who's the best lawyer in town?
Well, Zachary is, of course, but he's been shot.
Well, count him out. Count him and his whole firm out.
Anyway, you don't have to worry. She's already got her lawyer.
She does? Who?
Barnett Lloyd, Annie Lloyd's boy. He just opened his office here in town, and Uncle Watson thought we'd be doing Annie a favor by hiring him up.
Doing Annie a favor. Doing Annie a favor? Well, what about Babe? Have you thought about Babe? Have you thought about doing her a favor of 30, 40 years in jail? Have you thought about that?
No, don't snap at me. Just don't you snap at me. All this responsibility keeps falling on my shoulders, and I try to do what's right.
Oh, boo-hoo-hoo-hoo. And how in the hell could you send me such a telegram about Babe?
Well, if you had a phone, or if you didn't live way out there in Hollywood and never came home for Christmas, maybe I wouldn't have to pay all that money to send you a telegram.
Oh, Babe's in terrible trouble. Stop. Zachary's been shot. Stop. Come home immediately. Stop, stop, stop.
And what was that you said about how old we're getting? When you looked at my face, you said, my God, we're getting so old. But you didn't mean we. You meant me, didn't you? Well, I'm 30 years old today, and my face is getting all pinched up and my hair is falling out the comb.
Oh, Lanny, it's your birthday, October 23rd. How could I forget? Happy birthday.
Well, it's not. I'm 30 years old. And Billy Boy died last night. He was
What?
struck by lightning. He was struck dead.
Struck dead. Oh, what a mess. What a mess. Are you really 30? Then I must be 27 and Babe is 24. My God, we are getting so old.
It seems strange to say that anyone could be happy in a concentration camp, but Anne was happy in Holland where they first sent us. After 2 years of being kept up in these rooms, she could finally be out in the sunshine and the fresh air that she loved. The news of the war was good. The Americans and the British were sweeping across France. We felt certain that they would reach us in time. In September, we were told that we would be shipped to Poland, the men to one camp and the women to another. I was sent to Auschwitz. They were sent to Belsen. In January, we were freed. The few of us that were left. But the war wasn't over yet. They would send us here. It took us a long time to get home. They would send us here and there behind enemy lines to keep us safe. Each time our train would come to a siding or a crossing, we would all get out and go from group to group. Were you at Buchenwald? Were you at Belsen? Were you at Mauthausen? Is there a chance you knew my husband, my wife, my son, my daughter? That's how I found out my wife was killed. Margaret, the Van Danes, and Lucy. But Anne, I still hoped. Yesterday I went to Rotterdam. I had heard of a woman that had been at Belsen with Anne. Well, I know. In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. She puts me to shame.
I am taking care of more victims of this disease than anyone in the world. We have more frozen blood samples, more data of every kind, and much more experience. $5 million in the pipeline doesn't seem quite right for some 2,000 cases. The government spent $3 million investigating 7 deaths from Tylenol. We're entering the 3rd year. I'd like to hear your reasons for rejecting my application for funding. You don't know what's going on any more than I do. Could you tell me precisely why you're blocking my efforts? You think I believe this disease is mine? Well, I'll let you in on a little secret, doctor. You can have it. I didn't want it in the first place. You think it's a privilege to watch young men die? What am I arguing with you for? You do not know enough to study boiled water. And you're here on behalf of Dr. Murray, another idiot, and by the way, a closeted homosexual doing everything in his power to sweep this under the rug. I vowed I'd never say anything like that in public. How does it always happen that all the idiots are on your team? How can you refuse to fund my research or not invite me to participate in yours? Your National Institutes of Health got my first request for money 2 years ago. It took you a year just to print up application forms. It's taken 3 years since my first reported case just to show up here for a look. And the paltry amount of money you're forcing us to beg for out of the $4 billion you get every year to protect the health of the American people won't come to anyone before God knows when. A promising virus has been discovered in France. Why do you refuse to cooperate with the French? Why are we told not to cooperate with the French? Just so you can steal a Nobel Prize while something is being passed around that causes death? Women have been discovered to have this in Africa, where it is clearly transmitted heterosexually. It is only a matter of time. We could all be dead before you do anything. You want my patience? You want my ideas? You want my research? Take them. Just do something with them. You're right. I am imprecise and unfocused, and you are all idiots.
How'd you do with Richard? Did you break his heart?
You think he ought to give me back the Aquitaine?
I don't see why he shouldn't. After all, I've promised him the throne.
Boy keeps wondering if your promises are any good.
It makes no sense to ask if the air is good when it's all that you have to breathe.
Exactly what I told him.
Do you have it? Will he give it back?
What makes you think I'd ever pass it on to John?
It matters to me desperately.
Why should it? Does it matter what comes after us?
Ask the sculptor, why don't you work in butter? Because, Eleanor, because it doesn't last.
It's Johnny Bronze. He'll go as green from mold as any of our sons.
I know that. Richard gets the throne, you heard my promise. What else do you want?
No Aquitaine for John.
I have to give him something. Isn't some agreement possible?
Love, in a world where carpenters get resurrected, anything is possible.
You bore him, damn it. He's your son.
Oh, heavens, yes. 280 days I bore him. I recall them all. You'd only just found rotten.
Why her so damn particular? I've found other women.
Countless others.
And what's your count? What's the tally of the bedspreads you spread out on?
Thomas Beckett.
That's a lie.
I know it. Jealousy looks silly on us, Henry.
Doesn't it?
You still don't care what I do.
I want the Aquitaine for John. I want it, and I will have it.
Is that menace you're conveying? Is it to be torture? Will you stretch me or boil me? Which? Or am I to be perforated?
I have the documents, and you will sign.
How can you force me to? Threats? Sign? Or refuse to feed you? Tears? Oh, sign before my heart goes crack. Bribes, offers, deals. I'm like the earth, old man. There isn't any way around me.
I adore you.
Oh, save your aching archers. That road is closed.
I have an offer for you, Mayor Jolie.
A deal. A deal. I give the richest province on the continent to John. For what? You tell me, mastermind. For what?
Your freedom.
Oh,
Once Johnny gets to Aquitaine, you're free. I'll let you out. Think. On the loose in London. Winters in Provence. Impromptu trips to visit Richard wherever he's killing people. All that for his signature.
you're good. Yes, you are. I do like travel. Yes, I do.
I thought you'd like the idea. You've always fancied traveling.
I did. I even made Louis take me on crusade. How's that for blasphemy? I dressed my maids as Amazons and drove halfway to Damascus, bare-breasted. Louis had a seizure and my Daniel died of windburn, but the troops were dazzled. Henry, I'm against the wall.
Because I put you there. Don't think I like to see it.
I believe it. You do feel for me. To be a prisoner, to be bricked in when you've known the world. I'll never know how I've survived. These 10 years have been unimaginable. And you can offer me the only thing I want if I give up the only thing I treasure and still feel for me. Give your falcons more affection than I get.
My falcons treated me better.
Handle me with iron gloves then.
Sign the papers and we'll break the happy news. The Queen is free. John joins the landed gentry. Philip is satisfied and Richard gets a princess.
Yes, let's have it done. I'll sign on one condition.
Name it.
Have the wedding now.
What's that?
Why, I've surprised you. Surely it isn't sudden. They've been marching down the aisle for 16 years, and that's a very long walk. John can be the best man. That's a laugh. You can give the bride away. I want to watch you do it.
Alice. I can live without her.
And I thought you loved her.
So I do.
God, frightened me. I was afraid this wouldn't hurt.
You fill me with fear and pity. What a tragedy you are.
I wonder, don't you ever wonder if I slept with Jeffrey?
With my father?
It isn't true, but one hears rumors. Don't you ever wonder?
Is it rich, despising me? Is it rewarding?
No, it's terrible.
Then stop it.
How? It's what I live for.
Rosamond, I loved you.
John! Richard! Jeffrey!
Where's the priest? I'll do it. I'll show you. By Christ, I will. Somebody dig me up a priest.
Rally! The car is waiting. Go! Go! Oh, you look terrible. Oh,
What?
I will catch up in the cab. Yes, I can see you, you swine.
How?
Oh, I'm very old. I see everything, and it so happens I know you.
You do?
I knew you would not remember.
Could it be?
What?
No. Yes. Is it you?
I was very young.
The young wife of a conductor?
Violinist.
Yes, a violinist. With a mistress.
Oh,
I was in town promoting a film. It was a cocktail party. Your husband was to meet you. He did not.
not be smug. You were married as well to an actress.
An actress? Is that legal? I found you sobbing in a coat room.
Did not sob.
Out of anger, we came here.
Madness. Temporary insanity.
We had a fire.
And candlelight.
We stole champagne from the party.
And bought chocolate bars from the five and dime.
We broke every commandment. We made love.
And gained weight.
You were impossible.
You were, Barrymore. What?
No,
What's the matter?
you're far too kind. I am undeserving. I have failed utterly. I returned for a single purpose, and now
What is your purpose?
did Andrew play Hamlet?
Oh, it is done.
There's more, so much more I wanted Andrew to learn.
You learned what?
From my sorry excuse for a life, for all that he's accused me of. I was offered the world, the planet, every conceivable opportunity. Andrew was my last vain hope, my cosmic lunge at redemption.
Tell me, Barrymore, when did it happen?
What?
When did you turn scoutmaster?
Excuse me?
Raleigh is a big boy. You pushed him as have I. He needed that. But tonight must be his, and his alone.
Why do you stay? Why are you here?
Oh, and like anyone else, I have come to see Barrymore.
A sideshow.
A three-ring circus, a true oddity, a movie star, and a Danish prince. A womanizer, but never a beast. A drunkard, but until recently, never a bore. Tonight, I had hoped for one last encounter, an encore. But that was long ago. Perhaps I remember incorrectly. I will go.
But, Lillian,
Yes.
will you be all right, Andrew?
Who can say?
Have I helped him in any way?
Ask him when he returns. Any more questions?
Just one. Your husband, is he well?
I hope not. We're divorced. You were mentioned in the lawsuit.
Divorced? One last encounter?
I am old.
I am dead!
I no longer dance.
Make an exception,
Who?
Fräulein.
Oh, my Hamlet. Tell me, where one goes, where you've come from. I'm assuming it's heaven.
Sad to say,
Oh, is there smoking?
of course it is heaven.
Should I be afraid?
Of death, never. Only of life.
Actors!
What?
I love them.
You know, Lillian, there's a question that many ask. A question about certain activities and their practice in the next world.
You mean activities of a physical nature?
Aren't you curious?
Surprise me.